years, brands have aspired to deliver seamless, connected experiences across every touchpoint, whether it's a website, app, physical store, call center, chatbot, or even a social media platform. But the reality is, without the right data foundation, these multi channel or omni channel efforts often fall apart, feeling disconnected, inconsistent, or worse, irrelevant to the customer. So, what's changing now? It's the rise of first party data. Welcome back to another episode of Analytics Insight podcast, where we explore the strategies, technologies, and trends that drive modern businesses forward. And I'm your host, Priya Dialani. Now, the success of your multi channel content distribution efforts depend on your ability to gauge which channels are relevant to your audience and deliver targeted content across those channels. But first, you will need to adopt a data driven approach and leverage first party data to optimize your multi channel content distribution. So, let's welcome Mr. Abhijat Shukla, Vice President of Data Science at WebEngage, to help us understand the value of first party data for digital marketers and, of course, businesses, and how it can drive the success of your content distribution. Hi Abhijat, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Priya. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you too, and welcome to our podcast today. And definitely, it's a pleasure to have you with us today. We are definitely going to talk about an interesting topic, and I mean, with the rise of first-party data, I think our listeners will be able to take away some critical insights that they can probably implement in their own organizations. But before that, we would like to know more about WebEngage. So, if you can help us understand what exactly the organization is into, its specialization, or any particular offering or solution the company offers.
So, WebEngage is a leading full stack retention operating system. We help consumer brands primarily drive user engagement and long-term retention, right? Because the real wealth and the value for brands and organizations lies in the customer retention, right? So that's a core value proposition. Our strength really lies in unifying the first party data, as you mentioned, into driving powerful contextual omni-channel communication across web, app, email, WhatsApp, and many other channels, right? Our differentiators, essentially, you can say we drive personalization at scale, where we are leveraging this real-time behavioral and demographic data. And we are able to put all of this together and you can say craft these hyper-targeted campaigns that resonate with users into a one-on-one, very engaging, relevance and conversion and loyalty, right? If I can quickly talk about the core features of our platform. So we are first and foremost a customer data platform where we are consolidating and activating all the first party data that we collect from brands. We have that of a journey designer where we are able to create a multi-stage, multi-channel, or completely automated workflow for brands to engage with customers across different customer touchpoints. Then we offer segmentation and personalization engines. These are completely automated, where there is AI and ML workflows completely inbuilt into all of these engines. Then we offer analytics and reporting, which is often undermined by a lot of brands. But the power of analytics and reporting is in deeper diving the consumer insights and then essentially trying to understand, hey, what's really happening out there, right? Last but not the least, we have all kinds of channel integrations where we absolutely simplify the campaign execution.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you for that comprehensive overview, Abhijat, and definitely a fascinating journey organization has had so far. And in terms of driving customer engagement and retention, I think with the attention span of each user, the number coming down so quickly and gradually with all the digital chaos outside, I think keeping up the customer engagement and of course retaining them is becoming more and more challenging nowadays. And I'm glad your organization is out there to help out and tackle this ever growing challenge, I must say. Moving ahead, Abhijat, you have around 20 years of experience in data analytics, and you have a proven track record of leading teams, delivering solutions, and driving innovation to solve complex business challenges. So, it would be great if you could tell us more about yourself. How has the journey been till date? What triggered your interest at WebEngage, or what exactly is your role, and some contributions, notable contributions that you can share with us towards the company.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're right. It's 25 years now, and I've through and throughout my career, I've been an analytics and data science practitioner. Uh, in my role at WebEngage, I head the entire data science practice, where we essentially, me and my team are focused on transforming data into growth drivers, right? Uh, that's our core sort of mandate. Uh, my team essentially builds scalable machine learning models that power personalization, segmentation, churn prediction, and campaign optimization. And we have a portfolio of more than 800 brands that we essentially serve through all of these efforts.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. And we hope that in the years to come, you'll be able to contribute more and create a more meaningful impact at WebEngage. Moving ahead, I think in today's world, people expect everything to be easy to access on their phones. I mean, convenience is no longer a luxury, but a necessity. The pandemic has sped up the move to, online shopping, forcing brands to rethink their plans or risk losing to competitors. I was just reading across this survey which showed that over 500 US consumers and found that 1 in 4 people see irrelevant communications a deal breaker. Now, successful brands stay relevant by prioritizing multi-channel and omni-channel experiences because they're seamless, they are personalized, and I think they're more responsive to customer needs. So, how do you define the difference between multi-channel and omni-channel engagement? And why do you think this distinction is important for modern businesses to understand and implement?
Yeah, I mean, great question, Priya. It's essential for all of us to understand the distinction between multi-channel and omni-channel. Oftentimes, we've seen that these terms are interchangeably used by both brands and service providers themselves. But it's important to understand the distinction. So, multi-channel essentially means where a brand is present on multiple platforms. It could be email, it could be SMS, they could have an app, they could have a website. But this presence doesn't necessarily mean that the customer experiences that the brand offers are consistent across all these channels. In fact, the reverse is actually true. Oftentimes, brands deliver inconsistent experiences to customers across each of these channels because in the back end, essentially, there are different teams which are managing these channels, and these teams they collect data in a different form. They have different workflows designed. Their communication, their practices can be very different. Essentially, multi-channel essentially means that the brand is present on multiple platforms, but often these platforms don't talk to each other and they exist in silos, right? Omni-channel, on the other hand, goes a couple of steps further and it connects all these channels into a single unified seamless customer experience, right? So modern businesses are not just focused on transactions. They all are striving to focus on customer relationships, right? Customers today expect much more than just a very transactional relationship with brands. They expect a highly personalized, consistent interaction across all the touch points, right? Wherever they browse, they could be on a website, they could open an app, they could respond to a WhatsApp message. And that's where the real challenge and the excitement also lies, right? So at WebEngage, what we are trying to do is we are essentially simplify this by bringing all the customer data of the brand into a single place. And then we help brands build what we call as intelligent journey-based communication across channels. This ensures that the message is timely, relevant, contextual, and absolutely aligned with what the customer wants, which is ultimately leading to higher engagement and better retention.
Thank you for breaking down that down so clearly. I think it's interesting to see how, and what might seem like a subtle difference, multi-channel versus omni-channel can actually have such a big impact on customer experience and a brand's ability to build lasting relationships. And of course, I really appreciate your thoughts of how it is important for companies to create a seamless journey rather than just being present on multiple platforms. And it's a mindset shift that a lot of companies are still grappling with, and I think your perspective makes it much more tangible. um, so when we spoke about first party data in the intro, unlike third party data, which is often aggregated from external sources, first party data is more accurate, permission based, and tailor made for building a unified view for each customer. Now that matters now more than ever because of the era of cookies, and third party tracking is coming to an end. And we have regulations like GDPR, India's DPDP, and similar data privacy laws worldwide are tightening because based on how brands can use external data. Now, major browsers are also phasing out third party cookies altogether. So, this shift puts first party data at the center of customer engagement strategies, offering a privacy compliant, future proof foundation for more personalization for each customer interaction. So, with growing data privacy regulations, why do you think first party data should be the foundation for more sustainable customer engagement strategies?
Right. That's a great question and absolutely relevant in today's times, especially in the background of all the hullabaloo around AI and generative AI. There's a lot of buzz, and it puts even more pressure on data providers like us, like WebEngage, to do a pretty good job on the first party data. So let's first understand what first party data actually is. So first party data is essentially data that is consented, reliable, privacy compliant, and this is making it the most valuable asset in today's privacy focused world, right? Because otherwise, data can come in all shapes and sizes. There can be a lot of junk data which can get generated, and it can sort of muddle the decision making process for different consumer brands, right? Also, what is happening is that third party cookies, because of the entire backlash on privacy, there have been multiple lawsuits which have been filed and so on and so forth. So primarily the future of third party cookies and what we call as the intrusive tracking methods, that future is looking quite bleak. Okay, now whether they completely fade out or they come back in some kind of an avatar, the focus is clearly where the brands absolutely have to build trust with the consumers by using data responsibly, right? The future of engagement lies in using data ethically, build meaningful long-term relationships with customers, right? WebEngage is sort of leading the way over here by helping brands do this, collecting and unifying first-party data in real time. And this across websites, apps, and other own channels, and turning it into actionable insights. Now, the other piece is like both consumers as well as brands, they are challenging us by constantly putting pressure on us, saying that "Hey, where's the AI layer on top of this, right? If the data collected, the first party data collected is not privacy compliant, is not clean, the data models are not in place, then you're trying to build an AI layer on top. It essentially means that you are running in the wrong direction with full velocity, right? So what WebEngage is basically focusing on is that trying to get the fundamentals and the foundations in place. And this is allowing our customers with a much, much better, highly personalized, relevant, and timely communication. And across through and through, across all the journeys and campaigns that we run for our clients, we are staying compliant with all the data privacy norms, for example, DPDP and GDPR.
Absolutely. I think thank you for those insights. And I mean, it's clear that first party data is reshaping engagement strategies, especially in an era of, strict and tightening privacy regulation. And I think eventually brands slowly and gradually will shift from, broad third party tactics to building a deeper and trust-based relationships directly with their customers. And like you mentioned, the focus for brands should be clearly on building trust, and they can do that by making use of their data ethically and responsibly. And I mean that kind of demonstrates responsibilities and value in each interaction as well, because this entire embracing this first party data not just protects the brand's reputation but also fosters loyalty by showing customers that their preferences and privacy truly matters. So of course, let's keep exploring this a journey of first party data. Uh, I came across this survey which conducted by Epsilon, and it found that 83% of marketers expect a moderate to significant impact on their digital advertising efforts, owing to the measures being taken by technology giants like Google and Apple. I mean, the internet where information reigns supreme has entered a privacy era where multiple walled gardens act as gatekeepers to consumer data. Now, in this new landscape, the lack of data will definitely impact the marketer's ability to identify quality prospects and keep media cost also under control. So, when we're talking about first party data, what are the biggest challenges brands usually face in collecting and unifying first party data across various engagement channels?
Well, I mean, I could pretty much spend the entire day talking about the challenges.
Right.
But absolutely, I think that's a great question. I think first and foremost, most brands today struggle with data sitting in silos, and this could be, sitting across, different channels. It could be sitting across different sub functions within a particular function. So, for example, let's say a marketing, you could have performance marketing data sitting somewhere else. You could have CRM data sitting somewhere else. You could have a CDP lying somewhere around, right? And oftentimes, all these data sources don't talk to each other, right? What happens is and on top of that, not just the data sources are siloed, the teams managing all these data sets also oftentimes they don't talk to each other, which is a people sort of a challenge, right? What happens because of all this chaos, right? Essentially, uh, the brands who suffer from this kind of a situation, they end up giving an inconsistent customer identifier, and it absolutely delays the entire process of turning data into actionable insights, right? In data projects can often go into weeks, months, sometimes couple of years also. Sometimes the people themselves, they move out, and it creates added burden on whatever data projects which might be running around. I've seen this at close quarters across different geographies, across different size of the companies, whether it is a startup, be it a consumer brand, be it a fintech company, insurance company or a retail brand, doesn't matter. These challenges are pretty much consistent across industries, across the size of the companies as well, right? But now with the focus that is coming on first party data, I see a lot of companies now sort of pulling up their socks, creating data teams. The role of a chief data officer or a chief AI officer is sort of getting shaped and reshaped. And on the platform side of things, you have the need, absolute need from companies of all sizes. And that need is that of a single source of truth, right? And this specific problem is being solved by WebEngage through what we call as a CDPX. This CDPX is essentially our real-time customer data platform layer that unifies behavioral, transactional, demographic, any other kind of data which might be coming at any kind of a speed, and it might be ingesting data with different levels of accuracy, different levels of granularity, and so on and so forth. All of this data is now getting created into a single customer view, right? This primarily helps in faster and more reliable decision making. It also helps campaign activation from the same platform, and it is totally eliminating any kind of a delay and fragmentation. Just to give you an example, if you see a chart or a dashboard which is showing, let's say, first to second order, second to third order, and third to fourth order kind of a funnel, right? And you're looking at the metrics and you see an interesting insight over there, right? What this CDPX essentially does for its brands is that when a user is looking at this funnel and finds an interesting insight, can actually go ahead, click, and then create a sort of a segment of customers, right? And this can immediately get transformed within the WebEngage platform into a multi-stage, multi-channel sort of a journey. So the entire workflow of insight to action, that loop gets completed pretty seamlessly, right? This kind of a process we have done for leading brands, like for example, comes to my mind is Shopper Stop, where we've created these end-to-end workflows which are data driven, and the entire workflow is created to track customer behavior across a website, mobile app, WhatsApp, all of these different channels. And we are stitching all this data in real time, creating personas, creating these groups of customers, and then helping them sharpshoot, or what we call as precision marketing, right? But this entire new age workflow I can't give you exact numbers, but we are talking about multiple X's of boost in conversions, right? And this is not just Shopper Stop. We've done this for the Adani Group. We've done it for Unilever and so on and so forth, right? So yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for giving that insightful breakdown of the hurdles brands usually encounter when it comes to unifying first-party data. And I appreciate you shedding light on how fragmented market stacks or organizational silos, they can all compound to these challenges. And it really underscores why unifying data isn't just an IT initiative, but more like a strategic priority for businesses around. And of course, it's important that we align teams and invest in right data infrastructure, because that can help brands to truly understand their customers and serve their customers better. And of course, it's exciting, also a little sobering to realize that solving these issues isn't a one-off project, but a continuous journey of adaptation and refinement, definitely. Moving ahead, I think when we come to when we talk about data and personalization, I think personalization is definitely becoming very crucial for businesses who want to satisfy the modern consumer. I think the age old saying that the customer is king is now being replaced by new maxim, which is treat the customer as an individual. And of course, in recent years, there has been surge in data breaches related to personal data. I mean, these events, along with the growing awareness around data privacy rights, have kind of alerted consumers as well. Now, a recent study highlighted that almost 79% of consumers worry about how a business handles their data. Now, yet this progression towards offering ultra personalized experiences raises a critical question that how can businesses personalize the entire customer experience journey while also respecting the realm of data privacy? So, how do you think that businesses can strike a right balance, between personalization and respecting user privacy?
I would say that the focus is on the consumer. As we are discovering, the consumer is getting more informed in the age of digitization. I think the consumer is more aware today, right? And uh, there is a very big focus now, which is both on the brands as well as on the consumer side, right? The focus is getting on being transparent, and everything is being consent based, right? A lot of the if you look at Apple, or you look at the Android ecosystem, um, essentially the focus is getting on consent. Earlier, uh, the default on tracking was the opt out method, right? Where the user had to opt out. Otherwise, if they don't opt out, everything would be tracked. Now, and I think Apple led that sort of way, and many brands, many platforms sort of followed suit, where essentially the default method is no tracking, right? And now the consumer who's willing to share any data for a better personalized or a more contextual sort of a communication, or better products, personalized products, right? That consumer can willingly give that consent to getting themselves tracked, and then sharing any kind of a data with fully aware that, okay, this data is being used for personalization, right? So I think the key is offering control to consumers, and WebEngage essentially supports this with what we call as a built-in consent management system and data governance tools, ensuring brands are absolutely engaging with customers in a responsible manner, ultimately leading to long-term trust, right? And we've helped customers across BFSI, health, retail, e-commerce, tech brands navigate through these stringent compliance requirements, while at the same time still delivering personalized experiences thanks to our privacy first architecture.
Definitely. And I think by positioning the customer at the core of this ecosystem and valuing the data privacy, companies and brands are future-proofing their brand reputation, where personalization is not only desired but also expected. One last question for you, Abhijat. I mean, with the demise of third-party cookies, and with more importance being given to first-party data, what certain trends do you see will shape the future of first-party data for more richer customer experiences?
I think we're clearly seeing a pivot towards consent-based data collection, which is essentially what we would call as the zero-party data and first-party data, right? Zero-party data is essentially that data which a customer willingly shares with the consumer brand, and this can come in form of it could be surveys, it could be preferences, uh, where the consumer is fully aware that this data is going to be tracked by the brand and essentially used to tailor make and personalize the experiences, right? The focus is also shifting towards customer loyalty and what we call as the app first strategies to build deeper customer insights, right? Additionally, I think predictive engagement, which is powered by machine learning and other AI technologies, which is essentially helping brands to anticipate specific needs of the customers and then deliver value without over reliance on explicit tracking, right? So uh, the entire ecosystem is sort of evolving and is getting, I would say, it's getting mature. WebEngage is right at the forefront in enabling brands to collect zero party and first party data. And this is done through different dynamic forms, in-app feedback, user journeys. And then all of this data is then used to activate data instantly into a sort of a personalized outreach across own channels. So, yeah.
Definitely. I think looking ahead as emerging technologies like AI becomes increasingly integrated into engagement platforms, the ability to analyze and act on first-party data in real time will empower more contextual and hyper-personalized interactions. So whether it's retail, finance, or any industry where customer experience matters, now is the time to double down on your first-party data strategy, because in a world where customer loyalty is hard won and easily lost, the brands that truly know and respect their customers across every interaction will be the ones that thrive. So thank you so much, Abhijat, for coming on a podcast today and helping us understand that, in a privacy conscious future, first party data isn't just an asset, it's a lifeline for delivering more consistent and relevant experiences to customers across every channel. And I think it's the key to simplifying the complexity of omni-channel engagement and helping brands move to each customer journey point and stage and making more customer-centric journeys. So thank you so much for taking out the time and effort to be on a podcast today. It was lovely chatting with you.
Same here, Priya. Love the interaction. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So this is for our listeners. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Analytics Insight, and I hope today's discussion inspires you to think differently of how you can collect, unify, and activate your first-party data to create more standout customer experiences. Don't forget to share and deep dive into the technology shaping the future of business. Until next time, keep innovating and keep putting your customers first. You can view all our previous podcasts on Spotify and other leading platforms. Thank you so much.